Hello and welcome back to Today We Review, and today we're going to be reviewing not just one but two products that I believe actually go hand in hand. So the first product we're going to be reviewing is going to be the Burger 101 from Vankyo, and the next one is going to be the Ultimate 3D Heaven DLP Link 3D glasses. So before we get started, I just want to mention a couple of things. This is the first time you're watching this video, or if this is a second, third time, or the 100th time you've been watching this channel, go ahead and sit back and enjoy the show. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to review the items. We're going to go ahead and check them out, and then we're going to take a look into them, and I'll provide my final say on them. So just to let you know, this is a in-depth video on both items, so we are going to be looking into them highly in depth. So let's check this one out. First of all, it is by Vankyo. It is a Burger 101, and it is a mini projector with DLP technology. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it's screen mirroring. Its battery life is 5,200. It has a max projection size of 110 inches. It's 3D supported. It's keystone correction up to 40 degrees, and it has 256 megabytes internal, 2 gigs as well. So I just want to let you know that I got this projector specifically for the 3D. I've been wanting to watch 3D movies for the longest time, and I noticed that 3D projectors in particular are very expensive. This projector, you can actually find it at Walmart. It's ranging for about $200, but if you've watched a lot of these videos, you do know that I tend to get a lot of the products on sale, or they're either given to me or I borrow them or something. But this particular guy, I found him on eBay for about 80 bucks. There's some that are on there for $60. So they range of about maybe from $60 to $100 on eBay, but they're brand new. This one was already open, but still brand new, hadn't been touched or anything like that. So if you are interested in getting one of these low smart projectors, that's the best option if you want to go for a cheaper price. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick. So it's all the information there, and of course, it says visit us at Walmart for more information and reviews. That's because Walmart's basically selling them, not strictly, but it's selling. It's providing a lot of their sales. But you could always go to their website as well, and you can actually get a lot of the other products. So really quick, here's an interesting thing about the specifications. So the adapter form, the adapter output, the parts. It does have USB. It has HDMI, audio output, and DC one. The operation system, this was very fascinating. This is another reason why I really wanted to get it. It's Linux. Wi-Fi capability. It's got the RAM, CPU, battery size, display technology, DLP, light source, LED, resolution. So here's the only downside is that it says it supports up to 1080p, but its native resolution is just 857 by 480. So it's basically upscaling. Projection distance from 0.8 3 meters, and then 30 for 110 inches. Projection mode, front, rear, ceiling. Aspect 4:3 and 16 by 9. So it actually has pretty good resolution, audio aspects as well, keystone, and then focus. So there's a lot of interesting things just by reviewing this that are very fascinating for the size of this. So of course it's DLP, it's 3D upscaling of 1080, but the most fascinating thing is Linux. We'll check it out right now. Of course, what's in the box right now, we have the Burger 101, the remote, which batteries are not included, the carrying bag, the user manual, tripod, HDMI cable, and adapter. Doesn't that sound awesome? You're buying a projector, and right off the bat, they're giving you everything you need. They're giving you a carrying case, they're giving you the tripod, so you don't have to worry about purchasing anything else outside, and HDMI cables, and in this case, already the charger. By the way, how things are going with phones, we might not even get chargers later on in any of them. And of course, it tells us, the projection connection, which is a IR receiver, audio out, HDMI, USB, power input, and of course the on and off switch. Right now we're going to discuss a few things of what I really notice with this product. So let's go ahead and check it out real quick. And when we open it, ooh, look at that. Isn't that a nice carrying case? So it's not a vinyl cover, it's not a leather cover, it's more of my goodness, it's not a hard case either, it's a soft case. As you could tell, I can't describe the material, but it's, I guess, in between the vinyl and like vinyl-ish. I mean, it has that scratchy sound to it. It comes with the, well, I guess, I mean, you could carry it on your backpack or on your, or along your pants or on your belt. And of course, it comes with a Vankyo little thing, so it's kind of like it's a tag in a sense, you could say. So yeah, and then when we open it, wow, look at that. So it's divided into two sections. Of course, the top part is the accessories and the bottom part is the tripod and the projector. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the items we have here. So the first one, of course, is a remote. Now, I will mention right off the bat before we go into anything further, the remote's not that great. You really have to push the buttons in order for actions to occur, especially the arrows. My goodness, you either have to continuously press it or press it really hard, press and hold for it to occur. But the other items, menu, power, 3D, they're all pretty good. The volume up and down is pretty good. Home button. It's just these directional keypads that were a hassle, especially when you're going into further actions. Now, well, I'll show you before we get started. So, of course, the HDMI cable. That's actually neat to have. We have the USB cable and power adapter as well. I actually do like that it's not a one that's stuck together already, that you can actually detach. And this actually comes in handy just in case, you know, you lose it or anything. The best part is that the adapter size is basically any type of phone, charger and cable. So you don't have to worry much about it. And of course, the... okay, here we go. So this is basically just asking, you know, we're happy that you are happy. If you don't know how to express newfound full joy, we've got a few suggestions. You know, you could kind of just share the information. And of course, you know, unhappy, our dedicated and friendly customer care team will work at full stretch to pull a smile back on your face and restore your confidence in Vankyo. So it's basically stating, you know, they have good customer service, that if you need anything, they'll assist you. And of course, a Vankyo Burger user manual. You could actually feel, and I'm going to use the word feel, a lot of how a company manufactures their products, how much time they take into it, because this isn't just regular paper. I mean, it's laminated or like reflective paper. So compared to some other cheap brands or products, it's just basically like regular copy paper that they staple together. So, but no, this is actually, you know, an actual professional booklet. You know, in the back it has customer support and QR codes and everything. So let's take a quick look real quick. So of course it tells us, you know, the items, and of course, you know, the video modes, what you can and can't do. And of course, you know, the information for the layout of the projector, remote information, and further information as to getting started, keystone coordinations. And I'm going to get in touch with this. This is fascinating information. And yeah, screen mirroring, screen casting, and of course the specifications one more time. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look real quick at this guy. Okay, wow, he's really stuck in there. And the tripod. So the tripod is your very usual and common kind of tripod that you could probably find on eBay, Amazon, $5. You know, it's thin, it's short, it's not heavy. It's pretty flimsy in some parts as well. It has a rubber grip at the top, and you just basically place it on and screw the projector on top. And here's the projector. Look at that. That is pretty. Wow. And they weren't lying when it's a burger. I mean, look at this. It's literally just like a hamburger. the size of a hamburger. Can you imagine a projector size hamburger? That's amazing. What a time to be alive right now. So as we could tell, it's nice, it's compact. Of course, vents for the front, the lens where the projector's out, name vents on the side, of course. Speaker, believe is on this side, power button, and the focus. So here's a couple of things that I would have liked to see. I would have actually liked to see a bit more of the layout design. An Ethernet port would have been amazing. The audio out, HDMI, USB, they all work pretty well. I haven't had any issues. This actually is interesting because it's an on-off, so you have to turn it on and then push the button. So it's got two points of turning on, which isn't bad. That's actually a pretty good design. That way you don't accidentally turn it on. And of course, the focus. The focus, I will say, I had some issues with it because if you move it just a hair like that, it goes out of focus. And if you move it back, you have to kind of basically find the full thing. So it's kind of a pain sometimes. Top part, there's an LED in the top where it indicates it's on or charging. And the bottom, of course, we have a rubber seal layout where you could actually just put on it and it won't move. Now, I did want to mention about the IR. With the remote, I did notice that when working with it, you have to be right in back of it and basically pointing at it in order for it to work. Aside from that, if you move it, point it on the side, top, or anything like that, it's not going to have that functionality. So you really have to be in the back and basically just pinpoint it directly for it. So that's the projector. We're going to be actually going into the projector right now. Just before we jump in, I do want to start really quick with this guy. So, hey, look. Fancy knife from last time. Ultimate 3D Heaven DLP 3D glasses. These were actually... I saw a couple of different YouTube videos and people posting information. And these were falling under the best kind of 3D glasses that you should get. 3D Heaven, Ultra Clear HD 144 Hertz DLP Link 3D Active Rechargeable Shutter Glasses. That's a mouthful, I'm sorry. But it does state that it works basically for all 3D DLP projections. And, they weren't lying. The backside includes a bunch of their 3D Visit, ultimate3dheaven.com for countless 3D products at the best prices around. But I was told that all these movies stink. They're not great. And which is weird, like, you would expect it from being, famous, fabulous adventures and stuff like that. But how do you get 3D in beach models and some other stuff? But these are like B movies and low-end films as well. So the packaging is actually really nice. Nice cardboard. And let's take a look real quick. And of course, when we open it up, it says like us on Facebook, weekly prices. I will say this, that they promote more their Facebook page than their website, and because I'm assuming they're trying to be more into the social form. So you have a quick, layout steps, 1, 2, 3 to turn on and off. And of course, it provides you, man, they're really promoting these Bikini Beach babes. So it tells you, 3D Blu-rays, worldwide optimized with use for 70 inches and 3D projector. So they did mention that if you're interested in having a 3D projection at over 70, these are the best glasses to go with. Wow, nice cloth. And the bottom we have inspector, and of course you have your rechargeable cable, which is basically the same micro USB cable as the charger for the projector. And this is a really nice carrying case. So this is a nice layout. Look at that. It's got the power on button on the top. It's got USB cable charger here at the bottom. And of course, it's got these plastic covers. So once you're ready, you actually just pull them off, each one of them, and you're ready to start experiencing 3D. It has a sensor in the front as well. I will say the layout, the construction is actually pretty good. It is a wide lens style that you can actually wear glasses. My wife uses glasses, and she said that she had no issue with wearing these over the glasses. The material itself it feels that kind of like smooth Um, Very nice texture. But the downside with this kind of texture is that after a while, it's gonna have that decaying where it becomes very slippery, rubberish, and it just like feels ugly. Battery formats pretty well, also. So let's go ahead and take a look now at what these items really do and how they look like. Okay, so now we're ready to turn it on. So I actually connected my projector to the cable that it came with. I put in some AAA batteries into my remote, and we're gonna go ahead and test it out. So as you could tell, really quick, there's a slight blue button, blue light that's there basically, and that's indicating that it's charging. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn this switch, and we're gonna put. It does come with a fan, so you could hear it very lightly, but you'll be able to hear it right now once I turn it on. Okay, and here is the projector. Now this is what I meant, that you have to really adjust it. Now it says, recommended viewing distance 6 feet, but I just want to show you really quick the quality of it as well. So here's the main screen, what shows. It's actually showing pretty well through the camera right now, so I'm kind of glad. But I do need to mention that you really need to adjust the manual, and that's the little thing right here, very precisely, so that you could get the best detail ever. Because if you don't, it's gonna end up actually being very blurry, and it's very hard to actually adjust it precisely. So as you could tell, I mean, I'm adjusting it, just going back and forth, and it's doing a really great job of showing and adjusting the size. Now, really quickly, if you actually do get it and you want to try it out really quick right out of the box, I recommend that you charge it first, at least for an hour, just so that it could get some juice in there. Because if you try and turn it on directly without any kind of charge, it might have an issue where it won't start. So just keep that in mind. Now, as you can tell at the very top corner, there's the little charging and the Wi-Fi. So that's actually, the Wi-Fi has already been connected and ready to be used. Now, this is a layout that I really like. It's a very simple layout, but it's actually very precise. So with the remote, I'm gonna, as you can tell, now I'm really pushing hard on this remote. Now it could be that because it's new, I really have to kind of break it in or something. There we go. So by having the lights off, you can actually view this way better. But as you were able to tell right now, with the lights on, it was pretty visible at this distance. Once you actually start expanding it further and making a larger screen, it actually doesn't come out that well. So let's go ahead and take a look really quick at the setup, and we'll start from right to left. So the setup is basically kind of providing you with additional items right here. Of course, you have your Wi-Fi information in terms of connecting mode, connect the status, the IP address, and everything else as well. And here we have the projection brightness mode. This actual product itself, I will mention that it's not that bright. So keep in mind that what you're currently viewing right now is about 50 lumens, and that's because I really had to find and research. So going back is just basically the home button. There we go. I contacted customer service, and they kind of gave me a runaround and didn't provide me the full details, but I found somewhere online that it's actually 50 lumens. Now, the better projectors out there are basically providing you with like 3,000 lumens, or maybe 2,800 lumens. But in order to actually view a good 3D film, you actually might need about like 3,000 lumens. So the quality from what we're viewing right now to what the better projectors are is a huge difference. And I'm not sure if you could tell right now, but here's one of the things that I did kind of whereas the bummer to me is that the adjustment, I just adjusted it right now, but it's actually getting out of focus already. And I have to just slightly, there we go. And there we go, so it's back on. I'm not sure why, maybe the angle it's placed on or something, but that's one of the issues that I did have. Koala TV is actually kind of like a YouTube channel, but it's really straightforward. You have basically trailers for movies, you have sports, You have yoga and well, you know, cosplaying. That's what I was in. I guess that's what it was. And then fishing, and then you know you have makeup. So it gives you a couple of different things. But you know, since we're here, let me show you really quick how this looks. So we're gonna go ahead and just go really quick to this section so that you could hear the speaker as well. So I'm gonna higher it to it's 100, and this is what it sounds like once it loads. And I'm not sure. Okay, there we go.
How curious! I was tracking Armquist in hopes of discovering his secret base. But instead he came here, to a civilian facility no...
So as you could tell, it's okay. The speaker's not that bad, but it's not loud enough that you can actually just have that running while you're watching a movie. If you're by yourself and you're watching a show or something, you know, that doesn't require a lot of audio itself, it's not that bad. It works pretty well. So there's that section. Now, in terms of talking with audio, I will mention that it does have an auxiliary port, and I noticed it right off the bat that there's some issues with it. So we connected it to external speakers, Logitech computer speakers, and it didn't work that well, which is odd because when we connect our phones to those same speakers, I mean, you could go really loud, but when we connected this projector to it, we weren't able to go that loud on it, so it kind of sounded muffled. It didn't sound that well. However, we did use a portable Bluetooth speaker that had an auxiliary port, and it had its own volume adjustment, and it actually went really well with it. So that's what we were watching a couple of movies. We were actually, you know, watching, I forgot what film we were watching, and you know, it was pretty loud. So this is YouTube really quick, and on YouTube it has kind of a simple mobile layout. You know, you're able to go up and down with sports. You're able to search as well. Searching is not that fun, so you have to click right, and notice I'm clicking it, and there you go. So, and I'm actually standing right in back of it. If I'm standing right here to the side, on top, it's not working. You have to be right in back of it, which is a real downside because, I mean, let's say for example you want to put this projector in back of you. Well, you're not going to be able to because it's not going to be able to grab any kind of sensor. So, you know, if you search up at the bottom, it tells you kind of like a quick things. I don't know. Yeah, Baby Shark, I guess. So you put search, and at the bottom of the screen, it provides you with a couple of different things. I hate this song, but I just want to show you really quick of how it looks. And here, I'm not sure if you could clearly see, there is an angled version. So yeah, there's that also. Okay, so that's the YouTube and the Koala. When you enter the Miracast, HDMI Miracast options, you actually have to click on them in order to go inside of them. So for HDMI, if you have a DVD or Blu-ray player connected to it or your computer, you have to select HDMI. It's not going to automatically go into it. Miracast, you have to go in here and you have to be connected to the same network. Although a lot of people actually were complaining about this, and myself, I'm going to be included in it, that it wasn't connecting. I mean, it tells you, you know, the instructions, but my phone wasn't connected. My wife's phone wasn't connecting either. And I know a lot of people online were also complaining that it was kind of hard to get it connected. But if you are able to get it connected, you could stream and share whatever you're on, what's on your screen to the projector, which is a great idea. I mean, that's awesome. Who wouldn't want that? And of course the iOS cast, and then we have the media. Now in the media, we have a couple of interesting things. Is that I'm going to use a handy dandy USB, and I'm going to connect it to the back of it, and you'll see really quick some interesting key points into it, and it's just plug in. Okay, so we're in here now. So the USB basically has a name. We go ahead and go down and click on it, and we are able to view all the files. It also gives you options up here for like music, photo, text as well. But I mean, you can actually just use the same first one to actually scroll down and get it. And we're just gonna go over here to get a quick film or movie so that you could see it plays pretty well. And now here's the very interesting part is that this actually plays MKV, which is a very interesting file to play because not a lot of things actually play it. Computers, you might have to download VLC to actually play the films, but this already comes on board with MKV and some additional video and audio playbacks, which is really amazing for, you know, just because it's a projector. So we're gonna watch a couple of Tom and Jerry's, and there we go. So here's what I mean, that the sound's actually pretty well for being a speaker when it's not a lot of heavy audio. It sounds pretty well, and the color's not that bad either. So if I click menu on the button, on the remote, I'm sorry, bottom section comes out, and I could pause, I could fast forward, rewind, and have 3D options as well, and the rest of the stuff. But this is one of the features that's actually kind of good, but could be a pain in the butt also, because a lot of the things really have to be changed in order to get the best quality. And right now, you might not see it, but once again, I'm having to adjust the manual focus. So it's kind of a pain in the butt because my wife and I were watching a film, and after a while, I kept wondering why it looked blurry. And sure enough, it's because it wasn't connected that well. So that is a downside that you have to keep in mind. Here is, now you can actually dump a whole file or the folder in there into here, and it'll get it. Subtitles, I haven't quite gotten the film to get, or this projector to have subtitles. If the movie already comes encoded with subtitles, it works perfectly well. But if it's external subtitles, it might have a couple of issues. But here's a VR prototype, or not prototype, but a small. Okay, so I have to lower it down. And this is where I'm going to turn on the light really quick. Okay, so what we're going to do is on the remote, you're just going to click 3D. And as you could tell, I'm clicking 3D. It's not working. I have to click back here, 3D. And you have the options for side by side, top, bottom, which are your main formats. But just clicking it, it automatically goes on to 3D. And I had to put mute. So on your 3D glasses, these Ultimate Heaven 3D, whatever, all you have to do is just turn them on, and they automatically start working. So compared to other 3D glasses or anything, and I'm not sure if you're able to see, there you go. Compared to other 3D glasses, you may have to either wait for it to sync up, or actually get to it to be able to get it working. But this one actually automatically does a pretty good syncing, and for being 50 lumens, it actually does a pretty good job. However, I do have to really stress out that because it's 50 lumens compared to your 3000 lumens, it's not that bright with light. It's pretty dim, especially when watching it on a bigger screen. But yeah, you just put it on, turn it on, and you basically, when you're going to turn it off, just hold down the button for 3 seconds and the light turns off. They're very easy to, like I said, there's no worry about syncing. It actually syncs up pretty well. In terms of wearing, they're pretty comfortable. Here is the main issue that I had with these glasses, is that my wife and I were viewing these, and she didn't have any issues, but for some reason the polarization on these glasses switched. So these were right, left, and then for some reason they switched left to right, which is horrible because during the middle of the movie I had to put my glasses from upside down, and that's how I was watching my movie, upside down, and it was a pain in the butt. However, I think I found a solution to it. So what you have to do is, when you're watching the movie in 3D, you actually have to start the movie. So click menu, you have to start the movie from the beginning. So you have to watch the movie from the very beginning and adjust it to 3D again. And then for some reason, it actually starts getting, well, like it starts getting well adjusted. However, even with it, for some reason, some times when we were watching the movies, one of them actually kept auto syncing. Either it turned off, I had to turn it back on, or it did the same thing where it flipped over. So I did return that one and I got a new one, so we're gonna test it out again. But the center, since it's in the front, all you have to do is just sit back at least like 6 feet. It does pretty well range. If you're sitting back a lot further, it does actually take out the 3D effect, and you may not watch it as well. So you have to keep in consideration that when you're gonna be viewing in 3D, you kind of have to be a bit close, not super close, but close enough that it's gonna work. So yeah, so here's the way it looks. The IR sensor, we've already talked about that. The aux port, the speaker. So yeah, I mean, it does a pretty good job with everything that the USB contains. So when we're gonna head back, all we have to do is just click the home button, and we're back on the home button. So I'm gonna show you a couple of different things, but before we go any further, I do have to mention that when we first got this one, the Wi-Fi dropped a couple of times and I had to reconnect it. It might have been just, the system itself. So just to keep in mind to always keep an eye out for the Wi-Fi in case it drops. Linux, this is a Linux based, which is amazing because you can actually, if you're willing to, you can actually go into the system, maybe modify it however you want, or do whatever you would like to do. It's up to you, but since it's Linux, it's actually a pretty darn good idea of having all these functionalities, because not a lot of projectors online that you actually find, or even the $500 projectors, have an OS already on there. We already talked about the adjustment, so let's go on for a couple different items. Now, here's where it really actually becomes fascinating. So after a couple of just quick modifications, here's where it actually shines, is that it really is able to expand a lot larger than its predecessor format that we had here, and it's portable. So here's where it actually plays out that you can actually take it with you to camping, to wherever you go where you want to watch a projector movie, the restroom, the shower, you name it, wherever you want to go watch a movie, and it's able to project. This is actually the fascinating part, is that it is able to expand and you're able to view it quite well as well. Now here's the fascinating part that I want to add, is that you can't actually see it, but around the actual screen there is a lighter view of a screen, and that's actually where the keystone, which mentions here, the keystone correction, that's where it actually plays out, is that it adjusts automatically without you having to create any kind of further adjustment so that the picture can actually be viewed flat, which is actually really amazing for this price. That's pretty good. And here's where we're able to view movies and every other item. Okay, so here's another interesting thing, is that even if we were to move the actual screen just a tad bit, it will still adjust itself so that it creates a centered image. There we go. And this is where I want to view the actual format of how it looks once you're playing a larger screen. So let's go really quick to view the Tom and Jerry, just so that we could see how it looks, the difference from what we saw to right now. So as you could see, it actually works pretty well. It's not that bad, but as you could tell, it's not that bright. The clarity of it, yes, it's well, but it's not bright enough that it actually allows you to view the colors well enough and the details. And this is actually due to its 480 resolution. It does, like I mentioned, state that you can upscale to 180, 1080, and I'll show you really quick how that looks as well. There's a huge difference in visibility as well. So we're gonna quickly check out a quick example. This is a Big Lebowski, a 1080. Just want to show you really quick how it looks, and let's click some sound. So all those clickings, that's actually me trying to get the item. So through the camera, it actually looks a lot better than what it is currently out here. It looks pretty darn good on the camera, but on screen right now, it's good. It could be better. That's the issue. So as you could tell, not that much on your side, but on my side, it around the lettering, it is fuzzy-ish, and that's that I've already adjusted. It is kind of blurry to some extent because it's upscaling. Yes, it states 1080p, but it's bringing the resolution to 1080p, although the native resolution is 480. That's very important to keep in mind. If you're going to be watching an animated film, that's where I would recommend probably using this, because since it doesn't have so much detail, you're able to actually view more of the colors, the figures, and things like that. And here's a couple of different items that you could do is fast forward, 8, things like that. So here's a couple of items, but I want to show you really quick a scene where there's light so that you can actually see that how it contrasts and there's a difference. As you could tell, the lighting itself, it's not clear. You can actually view a couple of different scenarios where the lighting in the section over here is a little bit different compared to this side as well, and there's a large contrast with how it actually views, and that's mainly because it's only 50 lumens compared to the 3000 higher ups that other ones actually provide. So that's very important to keep in mind when you're going to be upscaling the image to a larger size and it's a 1080p. You are going to be noticing a couple of different things, that it's not going to be giving you the full resolution that you're going to be seeing perhaps with other stuff, or even with a better TV, those 4K ones and stuff like that. So it's very important to keep that in mind, that it's not going to be the best quality. But for the price and for the portability, it's actually pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, and let's go sit down back on the table and talk about our final resolution points to this. And to turn this off, all you have to do is just click the power button. It tells you press the power to shut down, and you're ready to go. Alright, so here's the final section of the video. What things that I didn't or did like, which, well, we already kind of discussed them throughout the video to kind of give you a point of view as to what items were pretty good, downsides, and things like that. My final viewpoint on this projector, particularly this projector, I liked and I love the portability of it. It's small, convenient. It already comes with all the items you need inside of the carrying bag as well, so you don't have to go out and buy any kind of additional item or anything. That being said, it's not the best projector. For $200 that you're going to be purchasing, if you want to buy it at Walmart, or under $100 that you're going to be buying on eBay, you can actually look for a used full 1080p projector, BenQ, and some other ones that I can't remember right now at the moment, but there's various different projectors for the same price. Although they're used, older models, you'll get a full resolution. If it's not an issue for you and you like the convenience of it being portable, this is a great opportunity. It's great for either on the road. Hey, you're going to be stopping at a hotel, you don't like watching what they have on there, take this with you, USB along the way, and you can actually play it. You don't have to worry about connecting it to the TV or any other item like that. It's just basically USB and connecting it. It's very convenient, and I will mention that's actually something that my wife and I were thinking about it as well, because when we've gone on trips, it's kind of like, well, we don't like the movies on, and like, oh man, if we brought the Google Chrome or we brought a laptop, we'll watch it on there, and the size of it's not that great compared to, watching it on the larger screen. It's good for kids, because, you're going to put something on for them and like, hey, here, sit down and watch it. If you're an enthusiast moviegoer, an individual who really likes to view the films and stuff like that, I'd probably say save your money, get a better one. But if you want to, a nice novelty item, hey, like I got this projector. It's portable, and that's a benefit about it, the portability. So you could just take this with you, and like I said, just the USB, and you're good. It lasts about 2 hours, and we tried it out. We watched a movie that was almost 2 hours and something, and it actually worked pretty well. Towards the end, it actually told us, a warning like, "Hey, put up your charger," and so that it works perfectly fine. So that's my review on the actual item. The combination with the glasses, they work good. Although I would probably state that if you have already a pair of glasses that works well with you, I would stick with that. And though we don't have in the North America a lot of options in regards to 3D anymore because it's not as famous as it used to be, overseas they still have a good amount of 3D options as well. And if you're able to mix and match and review and see a couple of different glasses, I'd probably recommend doing that, just because although these work really well and they were clear, they had a couple of issues that, as I mentioned, actually made the movie experience not that great. Final sections on this. Would I keep it? It's a up and down. Would I recommend it? Yes, to a certain extent. However, as I mentioned, if you're a moviegoer wanting to view things in good quality, I wouldn't recommend this. Not at all. And that being said, the only reason I actually got this one or was interested in getting this because it's 3D. If you are wanting to view it in 3D, I would not recommend it. That's my honest thing. I wouldn't recommend it in 3D because when you're wearing the glasses, it actually damps this image a bit more. So what clarity you're seeing already, it's actually going to bring it down just a tad bit, so it's not that bright. And because it's not that bright itself, it's not, you're not going to have a very good experience. We watched My Bloody Valentine in 3D. We watched Doctor Strange in 3D. We watched Alita Battle Angel in 3D. And I forgot what other one. And it only really had a good experience. We really only had a good experience when there was enough light that the projector actually provided us. When it was dim, it was a little bit harder to basically interact with the glasses and the screen. I had a couple of issues where you could see 3D, but if you were watching the same movie in 3D on TV, it had a better resolution, better image, and you were able to view it better as well. So I wouldn't keep it for 3D. I might keep it for the fun portability. It's a fun item. That's what it is. It's a fun projector. If you like the item, go for it. If you don't like it, don't buy it as well. But it's a mix and match. You want to get it for the portability, the neat item of taking it with you on the trip. Yes. If you want to watch films at 1080p, Blu-ray or 3D, no. So it's a mixed match. But that's my final review. I hope you all enjoyed the video. This was a very in-depth video because I noticed that a lot of other YouTube videos do not provide you this much information. So I really wanted to depict exactly everything from within it to the exterior, my experience with it, and what I liked and didn't like. And of course, a list of different items that I wanted to touch base on. So I hope you enjoyed this film. I hope you enjoyed this video. Man, I gotta go watch a movie now. So if you have any questions or concerns or anything, just put them on the comment section and I'll get back to them. I try my hardest to get back to as many comments as I can. If you like this video, hey, like and subscribe. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Lots of love and kisses. I hope, wherever you're at right now, that whatever troublesome's going through, that it may go by very quick and that you may have a restful evening and that you may get some rest. So everybody out there, lots of love and kisses. You all be safe and take care.